Hey Scorpio, this is your Aquarius season February 2024 reading. There's just something on my camera. All information to work with me one-on-one is below, as well as the extended version of this reading, which will be in the first link below. Give it about 24 to 48 hours for it to come out on Patreon, and then about a month for it to come out on YouTube. I'm just gonna turn this down slightly. There we go. Okay. Ooh, alrighty, getting right into the reading. We have some reverse cards here too. Okay, first card out is the Seven of Wands. Seven of Wands, you may feel like, for lack of a better term, so old school, like defending your honor this month. Sorry, I just want it like out of my face. There we go. And it looks like it's all about, and this feels very Pluto, so I didn't start with Pluto with everyone, but because you're one of the signs ruled by Pluto, not necessarily like it's going into your sign, but then we have your card out here and it also relates to Pluto as well. I figure maybe we'll just start with it. This transition that's happening for you, especially if you're Scorpio rising, your third house will be affected by this. If your chart is normally set up, meaning like set up normally, that's how I really mean what I'm saying. And so I had my heart mug and it's red most of the month. I'm kind of bummed I didn't have that. It's okay. All good. So, that will be very much amplified throughout the course of the 20 years ahead. And this explains it to an extent. So this feeling like quickly things are beginning to shift. For those of you who have experienced death in your family, it doesn't have to be like immediate, but there's someone that has possibly passed. I'm very sorry to hear that. And that could be why you feel like you need to be in protective mode, because if you are close to this person, you may feel like people are going to want to hear something from you, perhaps. If you weren't exactly close to this person, this is just about how you quickly are assessing the situation. It may cause you to feel an experience of like a change, a huge change in your life. You may have a moment of maybe deep reflection at some point this month. You could have possibly already have had it, and you are continuing to experience the very small, significant, detailed changes of this transit or this experience for some of you. So what I would like to say is that if you are experiencing that, a ritual around that could be helpful. Being around supportive people or in a supportive environment, somewhere where like whatever that means for you, or maybe you discover a new meaning for that word and for what you need right now. The change that's occurring is also about how this, for some reason, regardless if someone has like physically died, there's a pattern, right? This is what I'm seeing throughout like the readings, a thread of the Pluto, because Pluto transited the same day the sun moved into Aquarius. So it's like amplified for especially like intuitives who are, especially as an intuitive who really feels things shift and like goes and looks. And I don't always remember dates exactly So when I'm reminded, it's like, oh, because I write down the dates in the beginning of the month. And it's interesting because it almost like gives me a reminder to check on something. This pattern or this habit that's being put down, it's almost as if it's been uprooted for a while and now you're finally getting a chance to like have your peace with it, to state where you're at right now. And it has maybe felt slower than you would have liked. But Scorpio, you don't love everything to move fast. So being on the axis of Taurus and having exchanges with Scorpios and Tauruses, we just like slow in different ways. We're just slow in different ways. That's it. And where you're experiencing this shift and this change and almost this uproot and have been, and the next card that came out is the Wheel of Fortune, is all where it's all leading you to more fortunate times, more of an exchange. So we have Death card, which really is Scorpio, which is a fixed sign, and we have all the fixed signs around the Wheel of Fortune. Now Jupiter going direct in Taurus about a month ago, which is opposing you if your sun or rising is in Scorpio. Then the changes are going to start to occur. It's just really important that you remember that Pluto also brings power dynamics to light. In especially these Aquarian, with an Aquarian attitude, I should say. So if you find yourself like fighting amongst the group or too involved in something that doesn't really give you much in return, and I don't mean to sound so transactional, but this looks like that exactly, take yourself out of it. Maybe you notice that removing something from that piece will give you what you need, because why fight for something that is not adding up? This Wheel of Fortune moment, it's almost like sorry, there's a piece here. It's almost like you now see clearly what you couldn't before. So even if this is really just a huge change in perception, then we have this card out here. If it was during, especially last summer to about October-ish, that you started to feel like, okay, this part of my life, this situation is coming to an end. I feel in myself that I'm releasing. You may have not said those things exactly, but you've noticed that you have less maybe charge or maybe resentment, animosity. Maybe you're experiencing all of that before, and now you feel like you're becoming more free of it because you've allowed yourself to recognize it enough where it doesn't have as much power over you. So therefore, we have this power dynamic, and it's showing up in your life in a way, and it could be through people or family dynamics, but it's really showing you like, okay, if these are the closest people to you, what are the closest things to you in your life? I like to use universal language a lot. So, and I like to connect things as metaphors in that way for helpful reasons, right? This person could have seemed like so great and enthusiastic to support you or give you what you need, but really it wasn't at all perhaps what you needed. It could have just been, and if the Leo is involved, we'll get more into that into the next part, but they could have just been feeding you what they knew could keep you coming back, and it's like almost as if like you're proving something, but you just keep getting into this. You notice that the pattern was like you kept getting into this cycle of, and especially if this is love, this is like real messed up. But like every time you would go there, they'd only give you so much to get you back just to do it again. You know, it's like a cat playing, you know, just like playing cat and mouse. And this could have just been a reflection. Why is this coming up? What it's appearing to be is that this month it's getting you to notice what has stopped you from feeling and reaping the rewards of this fortunate time. Like, what keeps you from having more? Because it's like you get it, and then some people feel like, okay, this is it, or they feel like they have a low almost immediately, or it's like, how do you experience more of it without like pushing your luck, you know, that expression. But if you have it's not about pushing, but if you open up to it more and you expect it more, yet have no expectation of it, it's always that's how you feel lucky. That's almost like the equation. It's funny because I talked to my partner, who is a Scorpio, about luck a lot, which is interesting. So it's funny that this is coming up with you guys. And it's possible because Jupiter's been right across from you. So it's almost been like your luck super amplified and then not. You know, it gets amplified and then it's like, where to go, right? And it's also that feeling, that push and pull with you and how you respond as well. The Tower in reverse. You've already known this, right? It's almost like things are being like, because as you know, Scorpio, you're not the only one like this. So this is very much an everyone thing, but I think water signs have the tendency to experience this the most. You remember, or with heavy water placements, I should say, you have a memory that lives perhaps within your body. So when you have that kind of memory, which is like a technology in my opinion, so when you have that kind of technology, it can be very helpful to danger or to amplify your instincts. However, it can take you away from some of these experiences that we want to have on this earth, or that are being open to certain experiences. So there's this push and pull, and it can take a lot of energy for sure. So this season is kind of showing you, okay, well, if this is going to continue, you need to experience what holds you back perhaps from having and feeling and experiencing more of this, regardless of where the planets are, right? It's almost like Jupiter and Taurus sitting across from you is making you recognize this very clearly. And most people wouldn't call running into this very fortunate, but a lot of times when we are almost in our face reminded of something so viscerally that affects us to this day, it's possible that that's why it's bringing us back there, is just say like, you're not this person anymore, but the way that your subconscious or you emotionally respond to this isn't adding up and matching to your day-to-day. So in order to move through it, sometimes it's really to move through it in all of the ways. Where is it going to bring you? It's going to bring you to work in a way that you may have not felt this kind of passion in a while. Maybe it's something new. Maybe a new perspective. But I feel like this is when you notice it when you are at work or your mind is super focused. You know, talk to Leo, interestingly enough, about the present. So maybe that's a reading you might want to like go back and watch. But it's really that you want to rectify the situation within you, and you feel like the only way maybe you can do that is through your work, right? It's to physically, your Mars ruled just like Aries, and I would bet someone that those two signs, you guys need to let it out. And wherever it is, like in your chart, whether it's, especially if it's very heavy in your chart, or is in a place like Mars, you need to let it out. I have Mars in Scorpio. I need to let it out in a certain way, right? I would, any Scorpio says different, I would beg to differ. Or they're really working out their mind. Like there needs to be some kind of, I think, physical. And you're moving through a lot of, this is allowing you to move through a lot of muck or notice some things that have been stored and things that you're not even working with anymore, but you have so easily accessed within you. And it could be easy to say that, but really, like, we sometimes give too much access to these parts of ourselves that have no, they have no right. They have no right creeping up except for to help you and show you, not to remind you, right? But to remind you. Like, why are you going so back and forth? Well, it's to remind you of like how things could have been or how things used to be. And now that you are focused, you realize that some of the things that you may experience have been long dead and gone. And it's important to remember that if you need some kind of support, something's tickling my nose. Yeah, there we go. If you need some kind of support, that you have it, that it's easily available to you, that you don't have to, you know, go to lengths of feeling, or it's like, and you could tell me if I'm wrong, but do you ever go, you know, too long without being around people or your friends that you care about or that care about you, and being around that and like having a good time or whatever kind of time you're having, and then you almost make yourself lonely, and then you want to do things, then you like maybe reach out to someone and in a way that in which you wouldn't have normally if you weren't experiencing that loneliness, or you maybe reach out to a friend or someone who can really support that instead of getting yourself into like a self-sabotage situation. I have to sneeze. Okay. Okay. The best thing not to do in this time is to doubt yourself. Oh my God. I'm so sorry, Scorpio. I feel like I need to start this reading over.